Good evening, everyone. I'm Haylee Ficuciello. Tonight, I wanted to ask you a question. How many cameras do you think record your vehicle today? 1, 5, 10, maybe more than you realize. If you drove to work, picked up your kids, went grocery shopping, or simply traveled across town, there's a good chance your license plate was photographed somewhere along the way. Most of us never notice. We simply keep driving, but those cameras have been the center of the biggest public policy debate in America. Supporters say they're helping police solve crimes faster than ever before. Critics warn they're creating something our country has never experienced before, a growing network capable of tracking where millions of law-abiding Americans travel every single day. So are these cameras protecting our communities, or are they quietly changing the relationship between citizens and government? Tonight, let's look at both sides. First, we'll separate the facts from fiction. Flock safety cameras are not speed cameras, they're not red light cameras, and they don't automatically send you a traffic ticket. Instead, they are known as automated license plate reader cameras, or ALPR cameras. When your vehicle passes by, the system photographs the rear of the vehicle and records information including license plate, the make, the model, the color, and even distinguishing features like roof racks, bumper stickers, temporary tags, dents, and other characteristics. The company refers to this as creating a kind of vehicle fingerprint. It also records exactly where your vehicle was observed and exactly when. According to Flock Safety, the cameras are designed to identify vehicles, not the people inside them. The company says they generally do not capture the identities of the drivers or passengers. That distinction matters, but for many Americans, it doesn't completely answer the larger question. Let's begin with why so many law enforcement agencies support this technology. Police chiefs and sheriffs across the country often describe these cameras as one of the most valuable investigative tools introduced in decades. Why? Because time matters during a criminal investigation. Imagine a child was abducted, a dangerous suspect is fleeing after a homicide, a stolen vehicle is crossing county lines. Before technology like this, investigators often relied on eyewitnesses, security cameras that never were clear, or simply luck. Today, a vehicle connected to an investigation may be identified within minutes. That information can be shared across neighboring jurisdictions. Investigators can begin following leads almost immediately. Supporters point to cases involving missing children, recovering stolen vehicles, violent crime suspects, armed robbery, kidnapping, and homicide investigations, where these cameras help move investigations forward much faster than traditional methods. Supporters also argue something else that's worth considering. If officers already know what they're looking for in a specific vehicle, they're less likely to stop random motorists hoping to find it. Instead of guessing, they could focus on vehicles already connected to the investigation. From that perspective, many believe that the technology actually makes policing more efficient and in most situations safer. Those are meaningful benefits and they deserve to be acknowledged. But now, let's talk about why many Americans remain concerned. Privacy advocates aren't arguing the police shouldn't solve crimes. That's not the issue. The concern is much broader. Every vehicle that passes these cameras is recorded. Not only criminal suspects, but everyone. That means millions of completely innocent Americans become part of an enormous database simply because they drove down a public road. Organizations like the American Civil Liberties Union, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and the Institution of Justice argue that over time, those records should reveal an extraordinary amount of someone's private life, where they live, where they work, where they worship, where their doctor visits are, political events they attend, family members they regularly see, daily routines, travel habits. None of that information may seem significant by itself, but when thousands of observe that combined together, they can create an incredible detailed picture of somebody's life. That's why critics say that this debate isn't really about cameras, it's about data. Who collects them? Who accesses them? How long is it stored? who is it shared with, and whether Americans should be comfortable creating databases capable of documenting years of travel history. Those are legitimate questions. Then there's the Constitution, specifically the Fourth Amendment. Historically, courts have generally held that people have the reduced expectations of privacy while traveling on public roads. After all, license plates are visible to everyone. Police officers can see them, others drivers can see them, anybody standing on the sidewalk can see them. But critics argue today's technology changes the equation. Seeing one license plate isn't the same thing as recording millions of license plates, storing them, searching them, and reconstructing somebody's movement weeks or months later. Some courts have expressed concerns, others have reached different conclusions. As of today, the United States Supreme Court has not issued a definitive nationwide ruling determining whether flock camera systems themselves violate the Fourth Amendment. That means the legal debate continues, and it will likely continue for years to come. Another important issue is accountability. Technology itself isn't good, and it isn't bad. It depends entirely on how people use it. There have been documented allegations in several jurisdictions that some officers inappropriately access license plate databases for personal reasons rather than legitimate criminal investigations. To be fair, those incidents appear to present a very small percentage of overall systems used, but even isolated misuse raises understandable concerns. Flock Safety has been responsible for expanding auditing tools designed to identify unusual searches and detect possible abuse. Many privacy advocates say that's a positive step. They simply believe additional safeguards are also necessary. Suggestions include independent oversight, routine audits, limit on data retention, greater public transparency, clear criminal penalties for international misuse, and well-defined ruling governing information sharing. Those ideas aren't necessarily anti-policy. They intend to strengthen public confidence that powerful investigative tools are being used responsibly. So where does this leave us? Personally, I don't believe Americans should feel forced to choose between public safety and constitutional liberty. A free society should be capable of protecting both. Police officers deserve effective investigative tools. Citizens deserve a meaningful constitutional protection. Those two principles should reinforce one another, not compete with one another. The real question isn't whether technology should exist. It already does. The real question is, how does it govern? What safeguards should exist? Who should oversee it? And what limits should society place on the use of it? Those are questions every community should openly discuss before expanding surveillance technology. History has shown us something important. Technology almost always advances faster than laws that regulate it. Even seen in social media, we've seen it in artificial intelligence, we've seen it in digital privacy, and now we've seen it on automated license plate readers. Reasonable people can honestly disagree about where the balance should be. Some will focus on the crimes these cameras have helped solve. Others will focus on the freedom they worry about gradually disappearing. Both perspectives deserve to be heard because once powerful surveillance systems become part of our everyday life, it is far easier to expand them than to scale it back. At the same time, every victim whose case is solved, every stolen vehicle that's recovered, every missing child who is found reminds us why so many communities have embraced this technology in the first place. This conversation shouldn't be driven by fear. It shouldn't be driven by politics. It should be driven by the facts, by the transparency, by the accountability, and by the commitment to preserve both public safety and the constitutional liberties that define America. Those goals should not compete. If we get this right, they should coexist. I'm Haylee Ficuciello, Senior Correspondent for Englebrook Independent News. Thank you for joining us tonight and have a good evening.